And good afternoon, everyone. How is everyone doing? Welcome to Thursday Live. I am Steve Leahy. Sorry about the time change. It's not really a time change. It is for a little bit. What we decided to do was this from the beginning. This feed was supposed to be at a better time for our friends in Greenwich. There we go. Greenwich Mean Time. So over in Europe and the UK and everything. So as a result, we've kind of made it 6 o'clock their time. Now, the UK doesn't push their clocks. What is it? Spring back. They don't push their clocks back until the end of the month. So for a couple of weeks, we moved this time to 2 o'clock so that it still stays at 6 o'clock over there. Anyway, that's a long explanation that you didn't need. So we're going to jump right into it. There's no show and tell. I'm working on this Ford painting. You guys can hang out with me. I'm thinking I'm going to work on the rest of the tires. So I did the wire wheels, and we're going to move on. So let's switch things over, and we'll get to it. Hold on. Yeah, that's it. That's what we're working on. I'm going to jump over to my thing so I can see you guys. Here we go. Come on. Oh, lovely. There it is. Had to make sure the mic was on. All right, great. All right. So yeah, I'm still figuring out the whole Premiere, private, public, members only thing. So the Tech Tuesday for next Tuesday, I put up, and then the members could watch that. But I'm not, I think what happened was after the members got their shot at it, it just went live. So Tech Tuesday was a little bit early this time, but hope you enjoyed it. Patty, what's up? What's happening? Tim, there you are. So yeah, so essentially if you want to see this wheel done, and it's the same way that I did this wheel down here, the spokes and everything, but if you want to see that done, that's what the Tech Tuesday is all about. Trying to up the game with the production of those, so those videos. So yeah. So now Tim's on. So Tim has the wrench, the blue wrench. He is our man of the hour, so to speak. So Tim. So what happens is, if you remember here, you get a bunch of stuff. One of the things we do is we pick one of the members to be the kind of the feed's admin, and they can help me out and do that kind of thing. Now Simon is here, so I'm going to try something with Simon right now. Hold on. Oh, there we go. So what I did was, I didn't realize when you assign a moderator, it leaves them as moderator for until they're taken off moderation. But so what I did to Simon is I just took him off moderation, or made him not the moderator, just to see if that worked. And then what we'll do is we'll just kind of bounce around, pick a random person. There we go. I don't feel a thing though. Simon is back to his membership green title. So that's awesome. So we'll do that. We'll pick one. And then again, I say it every week. If Tim has to run, there is no obligation to be here for the whole feed. If I choose you to be moderator, if you have to bail out, totally understandable, and we'll just grab one of the other green named ones. All right, let's get to it. So what I was thinking about doing, just since it's on the top of my mind right now, is to get the wheels done. What I'd like to do is or the tires. I'd like to do both tires at the same time. It makes sense because they're both treated the same way and use the same colors. So so that's kind of what we're going to do. What I think I might do is I'll leave this one kind of off the camera because they'll be exactly the same. I'll just be using the templates. Yeah. All right. And the other thing too is down on this rim down here, I never finished the rim on this one, which I really should do. But I think I can do the tires and get away with it. I think it'll be fine. The reflection on the door. Oh, I really was happy with that. The way that came out. It was a really weird set of colors because you got to kind of get the reddish reflection. So that was a lot of fun, especially the green, because obviously green and red don't go together. They cancel each other out. So it's not like, I could spray it, spray it green and then put red on it. So yeah, it was fun to figure that out. Cody Adams. So I'm going to do the same thing to Cody. Remove as standard moderator. There we go. No, you didn't do anything wrong, Cody. I'm just figuring all this out. So we'll have one moderator, and that way we can keep everything under control. So yeah, so the goal is to really finish this painting. I'd love to have it done by the entry for the Butler show. And that's a super good possibility because the call for entries for this, the paintings for the Butler Institute of Arts mid-year is not till April 11th. So I have just about a month to get it done. Cody, no, you still have channeled the power of the green. So that's good. And I also noticed that we do have some 6-month members now. So you'll notice if someone jumps on, Gary is one that came to mind. When Gary jumps on, his little icon after his name, his little SL icon is a different color now because he's been a member for 6 months. And then there is a year icon as well. So, all right, shut up and just do something, right? All right, let me. The wheel actually will go pretty quick. There's not a whole lot that goes into it. It's more nitpicky stuff like with the tread and everything to get that right. Again, this is where the HD stencil comes in super handy. I don't have to guess with that. I don't have to cut out a template. I can really see those tread lines. And the old Fords had really simple treads on them too, so that makes it a little bit more entertaining to do for me. So what I need to do is I'm going to need to cut out, I should have saved it, but I didn't. Need to cut out the wheels so that they stay masked off, and also the tire too. So let me grab a new copy here. Trying to find one with both. I think it's pretty funny that all the templates now have this whole file got coffee on it. It was sitting next to the coffee maker in the file, and the coffee had kind of. I have a Keurig, and it just kind of went everywhere, and didn't ruin the painting, obviously. But all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this off for a second, since it's easier to just slide things around than to try to do all that. All right, so I'm going to cut out the wheels. Again, I just did this. If I had saved the cutout, would have been helpful, but I didn't, which is okay. So I wasn't really thinking about it. And, you know, like I talk about a lot, you know, I want to get this as accurate as possible. I can goof around with it after, which I probably will have to. But the more accurate I can cut out this mask, the faster it's going to go, just because I won't have to do that many adjustments to it, you know. So, and I want to save the cutouts. That's what we're looking for. I need that. So I'm going to put that aside. And then, since I'm painting the sidewall, the white wall essentially, that's what I'm really cutting out. So now I can cut that out and I can get rid of that. Actually, I'll take my own advice and hold on to it. It's funny, this painting, because I've been bouncing around so much, it hasn't given me a real clear feeling of like how much more I have to do. Normally I'll just kind of crawl across a painting like this, and then it's obvious. Like the Harley painting was a good example of that. I just kind of moved from one section to another, so it's really clear on how much I had left. This, because I've been doing the feed. Bradley, what's up? Because I've been doing this a lot on live feeds over its lifetime, and I've been bouncing around so much. I have no, like every time I think I'm like, I have so much more to do, and then I look at the whole thing and I'm like, maybe I don't. So it's not that bad. All right, so there's the cutout that I needed, and now I'll do the same thing with this guy here. I don't want to do that. There we go. All right. So yeah, as soon as I figure out the Premiere, not the Premiere, because the Premieres are working out really great. I'm having a great time being live with you guys for that video, for the Open Studio, because then I don't miss any comments. I can interact easier, and it's just really working out well. Um, but as far as the member only stuff, I got to figure out how the scheduling works so that it doesn't then release the video like it did, which is fine. I mean, it's okay, but I like to try to keep it, you know, in the schedule that Tech Tuesday was meant for next Tuesday. So what I may end up doing then, if that's the case, I'll finish the videos, but then like Tech Tuesday, I'll put it up on Monday so that everyone who's a member can see it early, and then I'll put it up and then, you know, let it fly on Tuesday. The premieres, I think I'm going to leave as premieres. So instead of having the membership be able to see that early, I really, really like to be there. That's working out great. So I think I'm going to keep it that way. Patty C. Hi, Patty. Have a great one. Auto claims and hearing wheels is going to lead to problems. Yeah, don't do that, Patty. I love the new group of people. They are awesome. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go follow Patty on Instagram, and you'll see her work. It's great. All right, so there's the cutout. So that's ready to go. I have Stone Temple Pilots stuck in my head, which is not bad. I have Interstate Love Song playing on repeat in my brain. It's not like I mean, I heard it a few days ago, but it's not like I just heard it. All right, ampersand panel. So now, this is the problem. Not problem, but this is where it gets to be interesting with an ampersand panel. I've said it before, these things are 1/8 of an inch thick, and the magnets don't want to work through them. The big heavy magnets, like the one I just used up here, that one will work. But for the most part, the smaller magnets aren't strong enough to get through the board to the metal below. And that can be an issue because I really need this to make sure nothing moves. So I do have a bunch of bigger magnets like that. However, getting through the board to the thing underneath. So they're what'll happen is if I get these anywhere near each other, they're just going to snap together and snap violently. So I got to be real careful with how I use the big magnets on this. But I do need to make sure that it holds up. Yeah, Tim, I agree. It's funny because I was not into any of that in the 90s, and I feel super bad. I think what happened was I got so hardcore burnt out of Nirvana being on the radio all the time that I was just like, I don't even want to listen to it. And unfortunately, that happened. But now, like, one of my favorite bands is the Foo Fighters. So, you know, now I'm all into it. So it's okay because the music still is great. Oh, cheers. Cheers today is coffee. So today is Lauren's birthday, Marge's youngest daughter, Lauren. It's her birthday today. And so we're going to do a bunch of running around later. So I am not going to do the adult beverages, but feel free if you are so inclined to have an adult beverage, and I will enjoy it vicariously through you guys. All right, so I've been doing 543s before this, so I still have white in the brush, and that's great because I'm going to need white for this. This tire, it's great. There's a bunch of these yellow, lines on the asphalt. You can see them in the hub here, and that yellow has a real big impact on the whole car, really, which is nice. So these are obviously white walls, but they have a really yellow feel to them. So I'm going to take advantage of that, and I'm also going to take advantage of this. So if you're having a great time in Orlando. I was not. I was still in Massachusetts. And then what happened was I went to school and graduated, and the same year I graduated, I got married. So there was not too much rebellion in my life, early life. So I'm envious of you, Timothy. All right. I lost my, no, I didn't. I bought, well, let's see if that's going to work. Is that going to work? Yep. No. What the? Oh, I didn't do that. I didn't switch my cameras around. Let's try that. No. What am I doing? I have no idea. Oh, I know what I'm doing. Give me... Oh, crap. 2 seconds here. I know what I did.
I know what I did. Hold on. That one. This one. Oh, that one. Okay. Oh, kids all over. Oh, that's nice. Okay, sorry. I had the wrong camera for that. All right. Good. All right. What did I need here? I need some sort of yellow. So I'm going to use yellow ochre. If I have it on, I don't. That was yellow ochre right there, but it is all dried out. So I'm going to put out some new yellow ochre. I should probably put some water in this palette too. So these wet palettes are great. I really, really love it. And the only thing you really got to do, like every I don't know, couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. Oh, Candlebox is good too. Yeah. Yeah, I like them all now. You know, Alice in Chains. Pearl Jam is kind of burnt out for me. Obviously, they have a bunch of great songs, but they're kind of in the Nirvana thing. You know, like it just I've heard the songs to death. So, but yeah. Oh gosh, so many of them. Tonic is awesome. So, anyway, I digress. The wet palette's amazing. So what I have to do, like maybe every like 2 or 3 weeks, especially when I'm swapping out the parchment on top here, I'll take the pad that's underneath. It's kind of like a thick chamois, and I'll go up and put just a drop of dish soap on it and just really like rinse it out and clean it out. This is really great because the pad underneath has an antibacterial type of something in it, microbial thing. So what happens with a lot of wet palettes is because it's basically moist all the time. I know. Go ahead, you can start. But because it has moisture to it all the time, it's a haven for growing all kinds of funky stuff. But this has that antimicrobial whatever in it. And then I put a couple pieces of copper wire in here too, which also discourages it. So it stays pretty fresh. But that's really the only maintenance that I got to do to it. And then so this is just distilled water that I keep in this bottle here, and you just kind of add the water on the edge here, and it just replenishes the water, and that's it. Pretty easy. Yeah, there was some great rock in the 90s. And then I was more into heavier stuff. Like I really loved Metallica and Megadeth and that kind of thing. So the grunge stuff didn't hit as hard as it does now. Like I really love that stuff now. This is starting to dry out. Anyway, all right. So I've got the white in here already. I'll just grab some of this yellow ochre from here. And where am I going to do this? I'll do this over here. I'm probably going to have to add a little bit more white, maybe. No, maybe not. So what I'm looking for is just like a real pale yellow, and that's looking pretty good. That might be too, I don't know. Well, yeah, isn't it great, Tim? It's like total, I hate to say it because the term is used too much, but it was really a game changer for me. Again, I don't use a whole bunch of paint, but I was wasting a lot of paint because it just you put a couple drops on the palette and they're literally dry in 10 minutes. So you have 10 minutes to use it before you have to either scrape it off or do something with it. But this really keeps the paint open for a long time. It's great. All right, that's good. It's kind of a really pale yellow. Now with this, again, I don't have the help of all the magnets around the whole thing. There's no reason why I couldn't do like a full blast painting on Yupo paper. It's totally archival. It's really forever. But just in the back of my mind, man, I know I have that paper is fragile kind of, not misconception, but feeling. Like I used to work a lot on illustration board, and illustration board is classically not, it's archival, but it's not like working on a wood panel. The wood panels are designed to last for a really long time. Or working on aluminum. Aluminum's forever, right? So obviously if I did a full blast painting on a piece of Yupo, it would be a lot easier because I could use all the magnets, but I don't know. So what I got to do in the meantime is use my finger to hold things down and just really make sure, especially at this stage of the game, because like the door is already done here. I don't want any overspray on that. So instead of just kind of hosing the whole thing down, I'll really work on just small sections of this. And the way that I get that done, like this is a pale yellow, so it's not that crazy. But if this was say this needed to be bright red, and I needed to do this whole thing, and I didn't want to I want to make sure there's no underspray, paint getting underneath. What I would do, just grab another copy here, and I'll just kind of show you because it's going to be really difficult for you to see here. So I'll just kind of describe it to you. So here's the cutout, right? Just the part of the cutout anyway. This is the inside of the wheel. This is the outside of the wheel. And I'm spraying this area here. So what I'm doing is I'm putting my finger here, and I've got a magnet here and a magnet here and magnet here or whatever. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of holding down the part I need to hold down, and then I'm only spraying really in this area right here. And then I keep it so that the spray is really soft. So this area here is kind of like a fade. It's not really hard edged. So that way when I go to move everything and go down to the next section, I'll do like a 50% overlap. I'll spray here. And because I have this really soft transition here, I can do this all the way around and it's going to be even. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Hopefully that makes sense. And you'll see it more when I'm actually doing it. All right. Oh, see the magnets snap together. And when these guys go together, man, do they go together. I mean, like that. Oy. All right, so I'm going to have to do the 2 magnet trick. So I'm not going to be able to use 3 magnets. It's just not going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the jumbo magnet, and I'll just deal with these 2. Oh, like that. Jeebus. Hold on. Now I got to put this magnet back on. And this is what I'm talking about. This is where it gets to be like a challenge with the ampersand panel. Again, I love the panels, but the magnet techniques really don't want to work very well with this because of the way that it works, the thickness. So what I'm going to do is I have the big magnet on here now, holding, it's off the page, it's up here, right up there. And that's just kind of keeping the template where it should be. So I'm just going to deal with 2 magnets at a time. They're not as strong as the other one, so they'll be less likely to snap together. I mean, if I get them close, they will, but... All right. Again, I'm more worried about the door than getting, under spray on the wheel. Because I can fix the wheel. Just there's a lot, like we were talking about, there's a lot of reflections in the door that would be hard to fix. All right, so I've got this top section done. I'm going to move down to this one. And no one's commented on my nail polish yet. That's one of the 543s. I have some metallic green in it. All right, so that section down here is locked in. I think I may have to add a little bit more yellow to this. Yeah, I'm going to add a little bit more yellow because I don't want to... If I had this all nailed down and I could just spray the whole thing, then I would do the yellow and then spray a little bit, this white color, and then spray a little bit more yellow on the whole thing, and then maybe a little bit of black and blah, blah, blah. But because I got to do it this way, I got to get this done in one shot. So I'm going to grab a little bit more of the yellow. And just a touch of black. It's probably even too much. So just the teeniest bit of black on the end of the brush there. That's just going to help kind of neutralize the brilliance of this yellow and give me more of a, yeah, that's better. Now I got to get that to mix up here. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to have to do this, the 2 sections again because I've changed the color. There we go. Oh, that's much better. That's perfect. Okay. So it's really just me and the magnet. I can't put a magnet where my index finger is right now because they'll snap together. Roberto. Oh, Bob's on. Robert. All right. What's happening, buddy? Any chance you go to the dark side of oil painting in the future? Timothy, that is my future. So there will come a day when I know, as I continue to age, because no one gets out of this thing alive. But there'll be a time when I'll get back to oil painting. I haven't oil painted since school, but if I had, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know, Tim, this is just for everyone else. If there's anything that I feel like, I've seen some amazing acrylic painters, but if there's anything or any type of or medium that's closest to what the airbrush can produce, that kind of flawless, blending and softness and layering and all that. For me, there's nothing else has done that like oil painting. So oil paint. So that's what it'll be. Yeah, yeah. I think that's what would happen. I've already started to recollect things. Like I'm slowly building up my supply of paint. Um, but yeah, absolutely. I think that's where I can see myself, like when the equipment becomes not too much, but you know what I mean. Like the airbrush is amazing, but it's a very mechanical. You need to be plugged in, that kind of thing. Um, so yeah, I could see having just a traditional studio. The smell of linseed oil just it like immediately takes me back. It's such just a comfort smell, even though it's it'll kill you. But yeah, I love it. I love it. It's been too long. I used to get, which is partially the reason I got into airbrushing. I had a great group of instructors in college, and they were very painterly. They they would constantly be on me for blending things too much, and I that's what I wanted to see. That's the way I thought it should go, and so we were always bumping heads. Yeah, they really do, Tim. In fact, there was when they came out with the water soluble oils. I was like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we could airbrush with them? And people do. Um, but yeah, this wheel template moved, by the way. You can see the red sticking out here, which I do not want. I don't want that to move around on me. There we go. Um, but yeah, yeah. So I did buy a bunch of the water soluble oils, and with the intent to actually, I did a painting. Bob, you actually the B17 painting. That's water soluble oils. Um, but that's traditional. I didn't airbrush that. Um, yeah, but I never really like continued it. I never really got really hard into using the oil paints with the airbrush. It's the same thing. Like once airbrush ready acrylic paints were available, they're all pretty much reduced down to what you need. To go back to, tube paints that you have to reduce yourself, even though they're oils. I mean, that's what I was doing with gouache. Gouache comes out like toothpaste, and you have to reduce it all down before you can use it through the airbrush. And I just didn't want to do that. You know what I mean? It was like, it was too much work to get to the same result, I guess, because in the end, I would paint the only difference for me in the end would be one would be oil and one would be acrylic. They look the same, right? So yeah, so I just kind of stopped doing that. But no, I did start to collect my traditional oil paints again, and I've been buying Winsor and Newton because I love that company, and that's what I was using before. So every time I place a Dick Blick order, I'll just grab a tube of oil. So I have this whole bunch of oil paints that have never been opened, and it's strangely satisfying looking at them. But I will get to it. Okay, so there we go. So can you see the difference between the two? This is got kind of that creamy off-white, and then this is the white of the board right here. So that is wonderful. Now, this is why I'm doing it this way, because I have the airbrush still loaded up with that color. So I'm just going to do the same thing on this wheel. And when I cover this, you'll see the overspray or underspray from the wheel and like along the edge. All that's overspray right there. So that's kind of, well, one, that's what I'm getting rid of, but two, you know, it's also just helping to protect everything. Oh, thanks, Bob. Love it. Well, and that's fun, you know, because that's sort of the way that it works, you know. It's, I had a great friend send me a message, someone I knew, or a friend in high school, and his wife just wrote a kid's book. So I'm just going to keep going while I'm talking. It's the same process. So his wife just wrote a kid's book, and he sent me a message and asked if I would be interested in doing the illustrations for it. And that's what I went to school for. But, you know, I haven't kept up with that at all. You know, like I haven't done anything really like that. And the way I describe it is, it's like if you're a musician and you spend your time being like a jazz musician or a rock musician, whatever type of musician. And then someone comes to you and says, oh, you play classical guitar, for instance. So would you come and hang out and play guitar in our rock band? You could do it with enough time because you have a foundation and you understand how music works, but you don't do that style. So you'd have to pretty much relearn a lot of things that you already know or need to know. So the same thing is with art, like for me to jump back into that illustration mode and do like cartoony drawings, I haven't done that in forever. So they're not going to come out good in the beginning, certainly not good enough for someone's, book that they just wrote. So I had to tell them that, I said, I'd love to, but I don't know that I would be able to do a good enough job. So same is true when you do a major switch in medium. Like if I go from acrylics to oils, it's just all, yeah. I mean, the fact that I've been painting for so long helps me to kind of make that jump, but it's going to take time. Like anything, you just can't pick it up, And trust me, I've learned the hard way. My introduction to automotive painting, motorcycle painting, came in exactly that way. I was an illustrator. Someone knew I used airbrush. The guy knew I used an airbrush and said, "Hey, can you paint a motorcycle or put stuff on a motorcycle?" Or if I remember right, the first job was like a guitar, and I did a horrible job on that. The guy still has a guitar and loves it, but I look at it now, or I think about it now, and what I didn't know back then about prep and clear coat and all that stuff. I'm like, I was way out of my league doing something like that. So exactly, Simon, and that's the whole. That's what I mean. It's like that's where all the best music comes from, where you have these crossover musicians that take what they know and then apply it to a new style of music. It's the crossroads thing. You know what I mean? Like you have the kid who studied classical guitar but then wanted to be a blues guitarist. So he brings all that classical knowledge to playing the blues, and it's amazing. It's out of control, right? So that's certainly it. But to just have Slash jump in and play that might not work out so well, So again, just moving the magnet on one side, and then my finger is doing the other side. But you see this side kind of moving every time I spray. That's how the paint gets underneath. If it's not held down, going to have a problem. Now down here on this wheat tire, it's not as big of a deal because I've got the asphalt, and that's an easy fix. Again, not that I want to get paint everywhere, but if I had to, pick and choose, I'd rather get a little bit of underspray on the asphalt than on that red of the door. That'd be a much harder fix. Simon said, but I admire you for driving in and doing it. I have a crippling fear of what I don't know, and frankly, I feel it holds me back. Simon, I'm right there with you. I am a way overthinker, so you're not the only one. And then it boils down to, this is a universal, just a universal truth to get through anything like that. What I keep telling myself is, okay, I've got a feeling, or whatever it is, and then that feeling is real, but I have to be really conscious about using the feeling to make my next move. You know what I'm saying? Because feelings, they're going to come regardless. You're going to feel bad. You're going to feel good. You're going to feel happy or sad. You can't stop that from happening, but what you do have control over is your next move. Are you going to let that fear make the next move for you? And once I wrap my head around that realization, it's much easier to get things done. So while I was yapping, I got that one done too. So there we go. You see what I mean? Like if I did this tire and finished it and then had to remix this color, it might not come out the same. So this way it just makes it easier. Brad, have a good one, buddy. Brad, I hope you're going fishing. Again, talking about living vicariously. I live vicariously through your fishing adventures. Alrighty, so let's pull all this and see what we got now. We should be in good shape. Oh, there's another magnet on there. Yeah. So what we've done, believe it or not, we've done a lot. There was a coffee stain on this that I don't know, somehow got on there. There's some overspray, the red overspray. Now that's nice and crisp and clean, so that's good. So do I want to keep blocking in? Yeah, exactly. Tim's got it. Done is always better than perfect. Yeah, because you never reach that, really. You never reach what your brain would feel is perfect, or what anyone would really feel is perfect. But yeah, man, Simon, I am the worst at that. If I don't have the whole thing figured out and won in my head, there's such a temptation to just hold off and not do it, and that's a fight that I have all the time. So you're not alone. All right, that's good. What do I want to do here? I'm going to do the tire because I think I can use the same color. What I've got mixed up, I can just adjust it. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut a new template though. I could use this template and then just block it off. But no, I'm not, because I'd rather have this still blocked off. So if I just cut out the tread here, this crescent shape, then all this is already blocked off and I don't have to worry about any of it. Where if I, put the ring back on there and then put the center in there, there's a chance that something's going to get lifted up. So I'm not going to do that. I'm fine just painting for me, but whenever the subject of painting for somebody else comes up, that's when the trouble starts. Yeah, Simon. So there are a bunch of great ways to get around that. And the best way to get around that is to put your stuff out there. God, we could have a huge, endless conversation on this. And I'm sure Tim can jump in on this as well. No one's harder on your stuff than you are. You have such a personal connection to that. And the thought of sometimes someone ripping it apart or whatever, or even not even ripping it apart. Say you give something to a loved one and they don't like it and it meant a lot to you. It's like, man, that hits hard. So the only way to really insulate yourself from that is to get used to getting stuff out there. So, whether it's for sale is certainly a good way to do it. However, it's not for everyone. And it puts a different set of, kind of not only responsibility on you, but also just pressure in a way, because now it's just not like you know, if you give someone a gift and they don't like it, well, that's more on them than you. But if you have taken someone's money or plan on taking someone's money to do a job, you really have to make sure that's right. And so it does set up a few different things, but I say go for it, man. You know, I mean, we hopefully, I mean, some people do this literally for themselves. You know, they create art because they need to create art, which I understand. But this is like anything. It's like a song or a story or, you know, whatever creative endeavor it is. We really don't live in a bubble, and a lot of creatives need that interaction. They need people to look at their work and see what they're doing. And so yeah, I know I am. You know, I even if I wasn't doing this for a living, I would still be doing this. And actually, I've always done this, even when, you know, I was doing other stuff. It just is what it is. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out the tread up top here, because this actually, the tire itself on the top in the sun has that kind of yellowy ochre base to it anyway. So I'm going to take advantage of this color while I have it. The front tire, the actual wheel tire that's on the car, doesn't have that because it's got the fender blocking it. So we're going to use that first. Remember, most people come to the artist for commissions. They would not commission you if they didn't love your work. I agree with that. I do agree with that. Yeah, and like I said, you're going to be the worst critic, so you're going to be way harder on it, on the piece than probably the people that are looking at it. You know, the people that get it. That's way more common. All right, so I'm going to line this up again. This is a huge thing to not get overspray on the car. It's just a crappy fix. You know, it just takes a lot of time for nothing, it seems like. So I'm going to use, this time I'm going to use a jumbo magnet. What do I do with it? I hear you. I've set myself a goal of getting some work out there this year. I love painting for me, but I would love to side hustle. Simon, one of the great things you can do is just enter it in shows, like especially juried shows, because then it's kind of it's neutral, right? You're not selling it, essentially. It gets it out there so people can see it. It's being judged so you can get accurate feedback on it, or some feedback on it, I guess. And it has the upside that if it gets in a show, that's a feather in your cap, and it's a feather in the cap of the piece as well. So there, you know, a lot of the shows are not very expensive to, you know, kind of get into, and we live in a time now where you know, you can get all kinds of art in all kinds of shows. It's not like traditionally, you know, like it used to be, where if you weren't an oil painter, like Tim, we were just talking about, like if you didn't have a traditional oil painting, you can't, you know, you would be able to get into a gallery show. Now it's totally open. You know, there's stuff all the time. So yeah, that might be a good way to go. All right, so I've got the jumbo magnet on the top protecting the red. I'm going to use my finger to kind of make sure that nothing goes where it shouldn't. And I'm going to just spray the top of this, mostly to get rid of that overspray from the red. Well, wisdom comes from getting punched in the face multiple times, Simon. So after a while, you know, then you don't get punched in the face as much anymore. You still get punched in the face, but... So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get this almost to saturation, but I really want to still be able to see the HD stencil lines, because that makes life super easy for me. So I want to really try to save whatever I can. As I get down here, it actually, there's a great red reflection from the fender and the tire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat and use this yellow color down here, and I'll show you how that works in a second. So I'm going to kind of come across at an angle right here with this yellow. And then what I'm going to do, this is the cheat right here, is I'm going to grab the other brush, which still has black in it, which then I'm not going to use that brush because I need the black. I'm going to grab the Learn Mojo here. I haven't used this brush in a while. Yeah, I was afraid of that. I brought this brush with me to New England and I never used it. I think I used it once. So, so when they dry out, like I usually keep water in them. So when it dries out, basically, if there's any paint, even microscopic paint left in here, it just glues everything together. So I've got a little bit of rubbing alcohol in here. I'm just going to kind of run that around the inside in case that's where it is. And then the other thing I'm going to do, actually, I'll switch to this camera because it's a little bit easier to see. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the handle, and then I'm going to pull the needle. Yeah, it's definitely jammed. So this is one of the very, very few times that I'll use a pair of pliers on an airbrush, and it's not even on the airbrush. I'm just going to use it to give myself a little bit of a grip on the needle, and I'm just going to pull it, twist a little bit, and pull straight out. There we go. And that breaks that paint seal. Wow, there is paint in there. All right. So now that I've got it free, now I can just, there's alcohol still in here, rubbing alcohol. So now I could just start gently moving it back and forth and spinning it around, and that just takes out that little residual bit of paint that's stuck in there. Loosens it up. And like I said, it's just a microscopic film, but the paint is so good nowadays that even that microscopic film produces, you know, this layer of glue, essentially, and just glues everything together. But that's all it takes. It just takes a little bit of fleshing out, and it's ready to go again. Steve, did you ever do a Tech Tuesday about finding and entering shows, the ins and outs? Cody, I think I did. Yeah, I think I did, but I didn't get into it. I think I said I was going to like kind of expand on it. There's a couple great, the first one to check out, the website is, why am I drawing a blank? I use it all the time. Tim, if you know what I'm thinking, please shout it out. It's the website, the artist website that has all call for it. It just all it is call for entries. Why can't I remember the name of it? I use it all the time. It is an art show, but I haven't seen that one, but I'm going to check that one out as soon as we're done. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. But I'll remember it before the end of the feed. But yeah, there's a great like art show. I'm going to go look at that one. But this other one, literally, just it's endless call for entries for every type of art in every area. Why can't I remember it? Well, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to keep painting. So to get the red, to kind of tint that little highlight, I'm going to grab some reducer and 4011. Oh my gosh, it's going to bug the crap out of me. I have like this mental block right now. Oh, there's not a whole lot of red here. Hold on, I was doing this. Here we go. I'm trying to get some of this Pyrrole red here, which I don't need much. I just need a little bit. So I'm going to put a little bit of reducer on that because I just need a hint of it to get this guy red. But where's my damn phone? Hold on. It's going to drive me nuts. This is like when you trying to remember the name of a song and it's like stuck right there, and it's going to be something. As soon as I see it, I'm going to be like, damn, that's it. All right, call for entries. What is it? Oh, of course, it's cafe. Which is funny because cafe stands for call for entries. So it's cafe, I think it's cafe.com. Hold on. Or no, it's callforentry.org. That's what it is. And it's called, and the short, everyone calls it cafe. It's amazing. So, yeah, so you just kind of go on there and you just look to see and they do them by, the deadline, by the time. So that, the newest ones are right at the top of the page, or the ones that are coming up are at the top of the page. But it's a great way to find, shows. And I've been in a bunch of them that I didn't even know about. Like there was one in Wisconsin, and you can set it up so you just look locally, around you, which is a great way to start because then you don't have to ship your stuff. And then the other thing to do too is check out every state has, pretty much every state has a cultural council type of thing. And there'll also be a lot of call for entries through that organization. Like the Massachusetts had the Mass Cultural Council, and it's just a great resource. But it's a great way because you just get your, like I said, get your stuff in local stuff, and then go from there. All right, so I got some red, or really light red, and all I'm going to do is tint that highlight that I just put in here, and I'm going to be pretty broad with it because there's a lot of dark that's going to go around it. This is really super thin, so I got to be careful with it. Oh, Roberto. I'm going to say no, even though I know the Massachusetts crew is planning a trip, which I really would love to be on. However, this year with the baby coming, not my baby, my grandbaby, and we have a wedding in November, and there's also the last Ultimate Air Affair is going to be near the end of the year, I think September, and I'd really, really love to get to that one. So with all that traveling, I don't think Sturgis is going to be in the cards, unfortunately. All right, so again, this is really super thin, but I'm just taking my time and building it up slowly, and what I want is that pinkish red. And you'll see how that works in a couple minutes. Could I get away with black with this? Yep, I think I can. Because I was just looking at the tire, and it's a real warm kind of black, and that opaque jet black is great for this. So I've got the black in the brush already, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in all around that highlight. Incidentally, if you haven't already guessed, the treads are last, the actual treads. I haven't been to Sturgis. I think the last time I went was 2008. No, 2010. 8 or 10. Wayne, what is up? Wayne. I'm going to give you a leg up on, I never do this, but I'm going to do it now. So Wayne, I chose your lovely wife's suggestion for this week. So keep your eyes open on Monday. I want you guys to get your painting. So what I'm talking about is Donna won the 543 giveaway last year, and we haven't got a painting to her yet because we're trying to figure out, what to do for her or what she would like. And 2 weeks ago, I picked one of her suggestions, and Wayne was having trouble with his internet, and they didn't get on, and they didn't see it, and then the painting ended up going, which is perfectly fine. But it was kind of funny because, like I said, we're trying to get that to her. So there you go. With that all done now, with the dark fade in there, and then the little flash of red, that's going to be my red highlight that's bouncing off of the fender. Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, that was, yeah. Yikes. I can't imagine. I assume it's just as awful as anything. But having lost my dad, I knew what we went through, and I knew that kind of doing that portrait of my dad really made me it was great because I was able to think about him a lot. Not that I wasn't thinking about him before, but it's just nice to be able to have that focused time on him. So, it made sense to kind of do that. Wayne, that's awesome. Thanks. Yeah, hopefully, maybe she'll like it and no one will pick it and I can send it to you. All right. So that part's done. I think what I'm going to do, I don't want to do this. I really need, so for the tire, the actual tire that's on the car, this one down here, this has like a brown base right here. So I think I'm going to leave everything in the brushes. Do I need that highlight color anymore? Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. No, I mean, it's just, I don't know. He does so much, and, for the whole art community that just seemed like the thing to do. Do I need that cream color anymore? I don't think I do. So I'm going to clean out that brush and I'm going to use that for the brown. Yeah, because I've only got a little bit of that left anyway. So let's do that. Because the other colors I can use, well, I can use to finish this up. And then, yeah, and then we'll do the dark parts and the treads and both tires will be done. I'll just have to do the hubcap. Once I get the hubcap done on that spare tire too, this, the whole side of the car is done, which is great. I have no real idea on how long I have left on this. The whole front end of the car needs to be done, the grille, the lights and the horn and the bumper and all that still need to be done. The tire in the back. Driver's side, yeah. So there's a lot that still needs to be done. I am going to have this done in time for the Butler show. The only thing I won't have time to do is order a frame for it, unless I order it now, which I could do. I just don't know what I want for it. Like I said, these all had frames for them, but they're all small. So I'm going to get a little bit bigger. The painting decides when it's done. I know, Tim, but like if I want to get it into the Butler show, I'll have to have it done by April 11th. I won't have to have it framed by the 11th. I just have to have the photograph done and in. But I've already got 3 paintings that I want to put in that show or want to enter in that show. So we're tempting fate by going for that show again, because it's a tough show to get into, and I was super fortunate last year and got a painting in. And so I want to see if I can, like I said, tempt fate. So I'm going to move this aside for a second. We'll get this next copy cut while I'm thinking about mixing up paint. Same deal here. Actually, I'm going to check it. Nope, it isn't the same deal. This one's actually a little bit easier. So, and I'm going to anticipate the next step on this cutout. So instead of just cutting out the part I'm going to paint right now, which is this front side of it, I'm going to paint it, or cut out as much of this tire as I can, because eventually I'm going to get to the black part, paint the black in, and then I can use the same template for that. I won't have to cut a new one. Oh man, so the HD stencil with these treads, it makes so much easier. It makes it so much easier. All right, and then I'm using the photograph as kind of a guide, because the white walls on these tires block some of the tire in the back, which is lovely. Which is great, because now I can leave the whole white wall in. If I could see the whole tire around the white wall, then I'd have to do the same trick. I'd have to cut out this whole area and then just hold it down with magnets or whatever. But because the sidewall gets, blocks everything down here, I can just leave this whole section in, which is great. Do 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 do. All right, here we go. So that's the whole tire. The whole front of the tire anyway. This one up here is going to need something. This part here is dark. So let me cut this out now so I just have it ready to go. Use another copy. This one's got lots of coffee on it, which is nice. So this one's the same deal. The white wall kind of blocks the very back side of it, which is perfect. So I'm just going to run this. This is going to be a fun one to paint, because it's not going to want to play nice. How do I want to do this one? All right, let's do it this way. There's like the black fade, so I want to protect the bright part that I just did. But see how it fades right here from the dark into the light? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the template way into the light, so that when I do this fade, I don't get any I don't have any problems with the edge of the template showing up when I spray the black. Okay, so we'll cut this out. See what we got here. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Okay, good. So I think what we'll do, since I got to get back on the 543s, is we'll finish both of these tires, put the treads on them and everything, and then I think that's a good place to call it. The other thing I'm going to do, since that is kind of close, and I don't want, if I spray this with black right now, like if I just spray here, there's a good chance there'll be a little line right here. I don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to anticipate that, and I'm going to cut out this part of the tire. So as I start to spray, here I can do, the regular spray, but as I start to move up and get the fade, I'll be able to just lift this out of the way. So that's what we're doing with that. All right, so that's all the black. That's all cut. So I got to do the brown first, and then the black, and then we'll be able to do the treads, and we'll be good. The next question that usually comes up as I'm working on these paintings is the painting available? These brand new paintings, like the Cincinnati painting that I just finished, and like the Harley painting. I think the Harley painting was on the site for a short bit, but I've taken them all off because when I start entering them into shows, I don't want someone to go to collect one and then not be able to get it for months. So the same will hold true with this one. When I start entering it in shows, I'm going to hold it off from the website. If one of you guys wants the painting, just get a hold of me and I'll make sure you get first shot at it when it's ready to go. So, all right, let's, there we go. That's the one I want. So we're going to put this one in here. I wish I had your patience with mine. I'd be ready and shaking hands. Wow, what a mess. We all have our things, Roberto. So I'm not, there are plenty of other areas in my life when I have zero patience. So, all right, so that goes there. Out of these two areas, I want to really keep the white sidewall clean, so I'm going to use the big jumbo magnet on that side, down here especially, because that's where I'll be going with the brown, and then I'll pull this part down with my finger. So I just got to mix up that brown, which I think I'm going to use straight brown. I'm almost out of this. Wow, I didn't realize I used as much of this. This is Createx 0010 Wicked Brown. The way I describe this, it's like kind of like milk chocolate color, but not as pastel-y. It's got a little bit more guts to it, but I don't know if you can see that in the cup. Not really, but yeah, it's like chocolate brown. And it is super thick, again, because I'm almost out of it. So what do I do with that? I hate when I do that. Put things in the wrong spot. So again, I put the paint in the sidewall here, and it's just dripping down, and then I put the reducer in the bottom. It just, it's easier to mix up that way for me. Then I can grab the paint off the side with the paintbrush. Oh, Bob, thank you. Aw. That's awesome. So now I got to find out how that works. Thank you for doing that. Oh, Jason has it. Oh, that's cool. So that's something that I've learned from other creators. That's a really cool thing. You can actually, as Bob just did, he purchased a membership, and then that gives the person who randomly receives it a month's worth of benefit. And then, they can opt to keep it going or whatever. So yeah, so Jason is now a What Could Go Wrong member. So what the membership does for you is you get 10% off anything in the store at StephenLeahy.com. You get early access to the videos when I get them up on the website, on YouTube, and you also have the ability to become one of the moderators for a live feed as well. So and your name and lights. So we'll, on the videos I give credit to all the people that are members, and so that's another thing too. All right, so there's the brown. You can see it a little bit better now that it's all mixed up. And you get X-ray specs in the mail, yes, and a decoder ring. All right, so I'm going to use the white of the board. If this had already been painted with the tire color, I would have added a little bit of white to this, just to kind of get it to stand up. But I'm doing essentially the same thing I did on the highlight, the red highlight up here. I'm starting with the color, and then I'll build the black all around it. Instead of, actually I'm hitting that too much. Dan Mayer, what's up, buddy? Yeah, that was super thin. That was way too thin, and I ended up flooding it out. So let me correct that real quick. Before that dries, I'm just going to lift off that. What happened at 1 o'clock, Steve? Dan, you missed the beginning as I was explaining what was going on. So this feed is basically built for the people in Greenwich Mean Time over in the UK and Europe and all that. So they haven't moved their clocks for the spring, time change. They don't do that till the end of the month. So I play to their time, basically. So they're only, the UK is only 4 hours ahead of us right now here in the East Coast, or the, Eastern Standard. So, so that means that the feed will be at 2 o'clock for the next couple of weeks until they move their clocks, and then it'll be back to 1. All right. So again, I could be pretty generous with this brown. You guys don't really. Here we go. I can be pretty generous with this brown because there's going to be a lot of black going in around it. In fact, I want a little bit more than what I think I might need, because you saw how how the red one kind of got kind of pushed way back. I'll make sure I got there we go. Okay. So that can stay there. That's good. So now the black. Again, kind of make sure the magnet does its job on one side and I'll do the job on the other. The black, if the black got on the asphalt, it would definitely not be a problem. But I'm still not going to, push my luck here. Start at the bottom, and I'm just going to kind of gently put in that black. Did not realize our clocks change on a different date. Yeah, Kelly, isn't that wild? I think they should get rid of the whole thing in general. Like, just can the whole thing, because it just seems so like archaic, and it screws up more people than helps nowadays. Plus, my car doesn't change. Likes don't cost. Thank you, Bob. That's awesome. Yes, please hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe too, because I do put stuff up randomly, so you'll get notified when I do. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, the whole thing. And my car doesn't change its clock by itself, and I don't want to do that. So, all right, the rest of it is, again, hit the top part of it here. I'm gonna keep it pretty light until I get to the fender, and then the fender kind of takes over here with the shadow. Again, I want to spray this just enough that I'll still see those tread lines, because the HD stencil does such a great job of showing them off. We don't change in Arizona. Wayne, so I got to move to Arizona, because apparently that's the place to be, because it's really stupid. It's funny. I thought the story was originally it gave the farmers more daylight, but they don't need that anymore. They really don't. Like, we live in like industrial farmland, and those trucks, those new, all the tractors put all the seed down using GPS. There's like miles and miles of perfect rows in the dark. Like, why does that feel like that's off? Better be on. Oh no, it is. It's perfect. Okay. So yeah, so that's, they don't need it. Was in Arizona last year and got confused when we entered Utah. So yeah. So if you're doing that, if you're flying around or whatever, it's like you've entered the Twilight Zone. All right, so the back side of this gets black. The other thing I'm doing too is I've got my thumb here and it's doing double duty here. I'll show you what's going on here. I'll move it back down again so you can see. So this part here, I've done all that work on that neat reflection. I don't want to get black paint up on that. So what I'm doing is not only am I holding down the template, but that template is, my finger's acting like a wall, and it's stopping the paint from going beyond my finger, so I don't have to, mask off the upper tire. I think that's going to be good. I'm going to pull that off and see what it looks like before I move on. Well, actually, no, I got another template for that other one anyway. Yeah, see, I missed a little bit on that, which this is an easy repair too. And again, you see how the tire looks like it's glowing because of the underspray. That's an easy fix too. Let's fix all that before we move on. So this little line here that's just kind of popping up, that's a super easy fix. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this same template. I'm just going to kind of position it so that I'm just slide it out so that it makes contact, or I can see that, little extra white that I missed. And it's not going to be lined up by any stretch. I'm just using it like a freehand template. And this time I'm going to use the magnet because I want to be able to hold this side down. And now I can just kind of spray that where that line is, where that miss is. Just go over it real light, not crazy. I don't want to like slam it. I just want to kind of get it to go away. And then that straightens that out right away. Super easy. Now the glowing part of the tire, that's actually really easy too. So remember there's, all the asphalt and all that. It's basically black and blue and all that fun stuff. So what I got to do is I just got to basically cancel out that overspray. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab another template here. I need something a little bit bigger. I need something to kind of match the curve of that tire. What do I have that will do that? The bird will do that. This is the RV2 template, and I gotta use this camera because it's so big, but this is the bird template from Art Tool. They call it the bird because it looks like a bird, but it's got all these really nice smooth, like gradual curves on it, which are going to be great because I know with this I'll be able to find, a curve that'll match the bulk of that tire. And all I do to do this, I don't know if you can see this. I'll move it up a little bit. So what I do is I take the template and just kind of put it on there and kind of look at the curve. So see how it pops out right here? So what I'll do is I'll just take that and rotate it until the whole thing lines up. And these templates are just designed so well that sooner or later you're going to get it so that it all lines up. So all you're seeing right now is that little halo. Put the jumbo magnet on that. We depend on weather and northern states change or not for commercial reasons. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. It's all got to go away. All right, to get rid of that overspray, I'm going to spray it the same way that it happened. So I wasn't actually spraying that. It was just creeping underneath the template and then just putting a little fuzz on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to spray like right about here. And I'm going to let the extra spray kind of do the work. I'm also going to use my finger to block off the yellow because I don't want any black paint getting on the yellow. So just kind of go near the edge and then just gradually just kind of creep up on that and go really, really lightly and just keep spraying the same area. And what's happening is the paint is deflecting off the template and the extra spray is getting out onto the board. So basically just the same way that it happened. And I really want to go slow with this. I want to keep track of this because if I hit it really hard, I'll just, blow out all the cool asphalt texture. But that is it. That's how to fix that. That's all done. I'm going to have to do it on this here too, but I'm not going to do that now with you guys because I want to, what I'll do, the only thing I'm going to do to finish up this tire is I'm going to spray that, that really thin spot. But to speed things up a little bit, I'm just going to paint in the treads on this guy so you can kind of see how it looks when it's done. And then I think we'll call it for that. Oh, I missed a spot way down here too, little. But that's the same repair. I just kind of move the template around a little bit and then just respray it. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use straight black for the treads here. And that's what this is. Right here in the corner. So I don't usually like have a like this color must go here on my palette. You know, you see those pretty oil painters palettes where the colors are all in a row or whatever. I don't do that, only because I'm using different stuff all the time. But generally, the black is always here and the white's always over here. That's pretty much standard for me. All right, the treads. This is why the HD stencil rocks, because I can see exactly where they are. The reflection is awesome. Too bad we didn't get to see you do it. Dan, oh, which reflection? The red up on there? Because you can rewatch this, the live. I did do that on the... I did do that live, so you'll be able to see that. If you're talking about the red reflection up there. If you're talking about the hubcap, yeah, I don't know where I did that. I don't know if I did that on a live feed or if I did that on my own or what, but... All right, so... The way I'll usually handle stuff like this, really thin lines that are, you know, precise, meaning they, you know, these treads follow that, you know, the shape of the tire, is I'll usually paint them in a little bit thinner first. I'll make the line thinner, and then I'll just build it up a little bit as far as the thickness goes. That way I know it's in the right spot, and then I can work on the thickness. If I try to nail it, you know, just make it as thick as it needs to be right out of the gate, and it's not right, then I got to fix it. You know, I literally have to rework it. But if I made it thin and it's kind of wonky, then I have all kinds of room to kind of fix it. Roberto, have a good one. Scotch on me. Oh yeah, definitely, dude. He's off for a ride. Oh, it's awesome. So Bob, if I don't know if you picked up on it, if everyone picked up on it, but he lives in Canada, so he is a hardcore biker, because I'm sure that the weather's not, you know, 80 degrees up there yet. He's my brother from another mother. So, all right. So that one came out good. So we'll move on to the next one. I gotta, you know, do the part that goes under the fender, but that's, I'll tilt the panel. I'll turn the panel for that. 39. Eeks. That's not bad though, but on a bike that's 29, so. This paint is drying out. So that's the other way you can tell you need to add more water to the wet palette. It's how the paint reacts too. If it's drying, you know, unusually fast off of the brush, that just means that there's not a lot of liquid in the paint. So that means that the paint is drying. You can't really tell by looking at it on the palette. It still looks wet, but it's the way that it reacts. Ah, I screwed that up. Dang it. Brush kicked out a little bit and added a goober on there, but might be in a good spot. Reflection on the right quarter. Oh, Dan. Yeah, I don't know if I did that. Yeah, it's the reflection on the door there. Yeah, I don't know if I did that live or if I just did that. That was fun. It was fun. I probably should have recorded it and then made a video out of it, but this thing has been in the works for so long, I just can't remember what the hell I'm doing. That's why when, you know, I was looking at it the other day, which started all this, and I'm like, I just got to get this thing done. It's been hanging around too long, way too long. So now that I've rotated the panel a little bit, it makes it much easier to get the rest of these lines in. And I screwed that one up too. All right. Yeah, it's not terrible. I can live with it. So yeah, there you go. So other things that need to be done on this that I haven't started yet. Like I didn't finish this wheel yet. This still needs, if you watch the Tech Tuesday, I just blocked this in. I haven't put the other, you know, detail in, and I haven't done any shading on it. And the back side of this will get a little bit of a maroon outline, which will act like a, it's supposed to, well, it'll act like a shadow, but it'll also help define that. So that's, you know, that's coming on that. Same thing on this side. There's a little bit of bright red on this side, So, you know, that'll help finish up this. The other thing that I could do, there's a very faint like blue shift right here where the sky is reflecting off the upper part of this sidewall. I can add that in too. And all those subtle things are really what's going to help kind of get everything put together. And then there's a little cleanup to do, like on the, you know, on the top of the tire here and stuff. Little, you know, some wonky areas, but not too bad. So then it's just rinse and repeat. Like I said, it's the same thing for this tire here, you know. Do the treads first, and then, I'll do the sidewall where it transitions to the sidewall. And then I'll do the treads, and then, you know, same treatment. Yeah, it's a little bit of blue right here, and then clean that up. And then I still have to do the hubcap on this, but it's coming. It is coming. Let me switch over to this one and show you where we're at. It looks like this so far. And again, what's so funny is hopefully you guys got the same feel as I was working on this. When you're up close on it like you were, and you're just kind of doing all this stuff, and you really like kind of zoom in on it, and it makes the painting feel much bigger than it really is. When you snap out and see the actual size, a lot of those things that I'm nitpicking on, you'll never see unless you're right on it. But it's those things, getting those small things right, all of them, that will really help pull the painting together. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So I don't know that I'll do much more live or videos on this painting because we've been working on it a lot. I think I might do the hubcap or the headlights in a video just so people can see how the chrome stuff works. But for the most part, I think I'm just going to try to bang this thing out and get it done. Needs to happen. Needs to happen. It has been around too long. It's the last one of the HD stencils. I'll swap over. There we go. It's the last painting in the group of paintings that I started with the HD stencils. So I want to kind of button them up and get them out. So the Harley painting was actually one of them too. So yeah, that's what I got. So that's your Thursday. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for coming an hour later. And like I said, we'll be an hour later for the next couple of weeks until GMT catches up and moves their clocks, and then we'll be back to the regular time in the U.S. At 1 p.m. Thank you, Bob. I know you're gone, but thank you for gifting that membership. Thank you all for hitting that like button too, and for subscribing. That means the world to me. So it helps keep things rolling here, and that's what I got. So for Steve Leahy and Thursday Live, you guys have a great weekend, and I will catch up with you all soon. I gotta know which button to push. How about this one?